where is it? I know it's here somewhere. Here we go. And we want that one. Now my internet is not the quickest down here in Australia, so hopefully this won't cause too much issues. There we go. So you can see my WordPress site now, I take it?
Yeah, there it is.
You might need to disable your mics, because I think when you start talking, my screen will disappear, and I think your face will come up, if that makes sense.
Makes sense to me. So is there a chat somewhere?
There should be a chat box on the right hand side. If you click on the on the left, there's a chat box. Yep.
Gotcha.
I've got 4 monitors, so if you type in a chat, I should see it. Right. Okay. So all I've done is I've got the site here. I'm running the Beaver Builder theme with the child theme, and nothing too exciting going on. I've installed WooCommerce, and I've uploaded the dummy content, as well as I think I may have the testing. No, I don't. I don't have the testing data. Okay. So let me go into my pages, and I've got the sample page as my front page, and I'll go into Page Builder. Depends on what you've got on what version, of course. It'll be called different things, I think, because I've got the agency version, so I don't know if I've renamed this. It's Page Builder by default. Anyway, I'm just going to delete this. Okay, so all my modules are listed all on the one side, so this should be all pretty easy. So I'm just going to start from the top and show you how to use them. Drag in the counter, and then all you need to do is set your date. 16/01/01 000. So New Year's. And we can see that it's 62 days, 1 hour, 33 minutes and 11 seconds until New Year's. And you can see that the message displays down there, and you can hide the days, so that'll drop off. You can hide your hours, and you can hide your text. So that's just the countdown text. If you want to hide the message, just don't put one in there. So that's pretty straightforward. You can then go in and style it, so you can change your fonts. And we can do a custom font size. We can change the letter spacing. We can change our coloring. We can change our background color, etc., etc. So that's the countdown module. So that's pretty straightforward. I'm going to try and I can't remember if it was Josh I was talking to with you, but I'm going to try and get this so it will count up as well. So it will count up to a date rather down from a date, if that makes sense. So has anybody got any questions about the countdown module? No, nothing coming in unless I'm in, unless there's a Q&A. You're in the Q&A? Nope. Okay, cool. Now, the other thing I want to jump in and show you, I'm just going to save this, is this window sizing. So I'm going to save that. I'm going to go done and publish my changes, which will take me back. So now that's my home page. Just going to go to my dashboard here, And if you go to settings, you've got SWBB resizer. I'm going to see if I can get that into the actual Beaver Buddy settings itself. But in here, I've got a basic preview of the form, very, very basic. But I'm just going to lower the opacity, which the new version that went out, which actually obviously I don't have installed on my machine here. I obviously did that at the office machine, has a higher background opacities because someone said 70% was still too light. So it now goes 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95. I'll just lower it to 70. You can't really see it through there, but that'll show you the opacity. We'll change our font size to 24px. I want to make my font color red. You can also use, hex codes. I'm going to make my form height. I want to make that 50 viewport. I want to make it 50% width of my viewport. If I save those changes, we'll see that reflect in the form. And my background opacity doesn't change. It doesn't hold that setting. Cannot work out why not. So I've just put it in there so you can see, but that'll start to fade. So now if I jump back into my page builder, go back into my clock, you can now see that I've changed my width. It's 50% to 50%. And I can see what's going on behind it, and my font size is now at 24 pixels, which is probably a bit too high. So that is the changing of the Beaver Buddy forms, which I'm just going to go back in and change my font size because that was horrible, but I exaggerated it just to show you. I'm going to change that to 80% width. Actually, I'll change that to 80% view height. I'll leave it at 50 width. Leave that at default. Leave that at default. Save changes. Anybody got any questions about the resizer? So there we go. It's a bit higher, 50% width. It's nearly covering my viewport, so I'd have to scroll to get to my settings now. So I prefer it. It'd be good if this wasn't a pop-up light box. It'd be good if it was actually a separate window, because then we could just drag it across to another monitor. But then you'd be able to snap it to a full screen, and would just make life a lot better. Okay. Let's go add in some more content. I'll just delete this one just so it's... So the footer module is very basic. I don't even think I need to show that to anyone. It just allows to have a custom footer in there, so you can leave it as default or you can change it to whatever you want. And you'll see that will now change to here. It's not changing there because that's the theme. This is the module, and over here has the scroll to top, and you can change the icon for that. Let's make it that one. So it'll change over there, or you can hide it. So very straightforward. If we go back into the, let's cancel out of that. If we go back into the theme and we go customize, because I'm using the Beaver Buddy theme in here. So if we go into customize, and we can go to, why is it not in there? Oh, maybe I did it in a different version, but I do have it in there, which I'm just downloading the version. I do have it in there that you can change the footer for here as well. So obviously I'm just going to check what version I am running. plugins, install plugins. 1.06. I am one version behind on my demo today. Okay, so the next module is hover card. So in the hover card, so we can choose posts. It's not going to show any posts. If I hover over here, because there's one post in here, but I do have the WooCommerce installed. So here's WooCommerce. We can filter it by category. So if I change it to music, think, there we go. We can filter that by categories, how many posts we want to show, whether we want to show the excerpt, align it centrally. So that's not the post to align centrally, but if I scroll down, I've got 3 per width. But if 2 per width, so I've got an even number. But if I had an odd number here, so if I went 11, this bottom one should be central. Or not. Why did that not change? Maybe it'll change when I save it. We could change our panel width, and these will float left, so it'll naturally fit in there. We can change our gutter width to make it 0.5% if we wanted to. That's 0.5. I don't know if you can see that there. You can change your image position within the box. You can also change it to fit height, fit width, etc., etc. So you can make it crop to fit, which it is by default. So fit height, fit width. And if you don't have any WooCommerce or posts, I'll just go and save this though, just to show you how that works. Now this is just your standard, use your standard tags for these. So you should be able to style these with just your, the styling will be pulled in from your theme. So if you need to change the font size and things, you'd need to do that with the CS of the theme. But you can see there, and you can click through, and it will take you through to that post. Just go back into it. The other thing you can do is, if you want, you can change your to custom posts. So you're not pulling any contact dynamically out of the database, and then you can go and edit and create panels. So we could call this one my panel. We can choose a photo. Have I got photos in my library in this? I hope so. Yes, I do. So let's go with this one. And I'll change that. I don't know. I'll have to check whether this loads the images full size and scales them, or whether it only pulls in that size. I'm sure that's a WordPress thing. So anyway, we can type in our heading text. B&W model underwater. We can link that if we wanted to, and check out this gorgeous image. And we can save that. And now we've created our first panel, and you can see it's there. We can continue to add panels as we want. And if we go publish that, and you can see there's my title, which is bigger. The font size is bigger, so I'd need to change that with some CES, and the title. So you can create your own hover cards, pull blog posts, pull WooCommerce, or create directly within Beaver Builder itself. Any questions about my hover card module? Okay, so the next one is Masonry Gallery, and to show that, I need to go back to the main menu. Dashboard. And under our menu, we've got SW Gallery. So I made the decision to take the gallery outside of the module. And my reason for that is because I just preferred to be able to edit the images in here. So I've created a gallery called test, but the reason is I can drag and drop these into any order really easily and really simply. I can click on edit, it opens in a separate screen, and it will give me the full control to activate, to edit everything for not only for SEO, but it also pulls the captions and things as well in my gallery. So what you need to do is you go in gallery and you just select and upload photos, select your photos, and it's really simple to keep. I've put a gallery category. I'm not using it, but there is that in there. So if I go back to my site, and I'll show you all that my masonry gallery can do. I don't know why I call it a masonry gallery, because it does more than masonry now. It's more of a gallery plugin. Oops. I might make this full screen just because I can. So I'll change that to full width, full width. There we go. Add content, masonry gallery. So I just drag that in there. And what do I call it? Test. What's the test? Start typing in my 3. There it is. Okay. So I'll start with the masonry layout. And this is where I love my opacity, because I can see all my images in behind that. And you can see that the masonry is loaded properly, but it's all uneven at the bottom. If you go into your masonry style, you've got justified. And now that justifies the images so they all line up nice and neatly and they box in there quite nice. You can disable the captions. You can add padding between your images. You can enable icons, disable icons, shuffle the images, have how high those images, the row height is. So I could make that 200. And they'll only be 200 pixels high now. You can set whether you want image borders, so you can set borders around the images, how big you want it, whether you want to make a radius. You could set an outline border as well. So that'll add an outline to the border. So you can see that in there, particularly if you delete the radius. Starts to give a nice sort of 3D beveled look, not with the blue and the red. You could add overlays to your, and change your opacity. You can have image effects. So what image effects will do is when you hover over it, you can blur it, turn the image blur. You can make it black and white, or you can change it to sepia. So let's make, these are already black and white, so let's make them blur with a red opacity. Let's hit save. And we'll go done and published. I don't know why I've got that var dump in there. Obviously this was my testing. So you can see the icons are on, and I've got the red overlay, and my images are blurring out in the background. They're really hard to tell with these black and white images though. But what we could do is we could change that to sepia probably. Let's change that to sepia. Go back to our masonry style, and we will change that, oops, to sepia. Save. There we go. Oh, the red's red's making it hard to see, but that's giving a yellow tinge. So if I change that to a If I change that to get rid of, let's get rid of the border, and let's make the overlay color gone, and now it should turn to sepia. Are the images going to be all full size if we took the CSS off? Yes. The image URL is the full size image. So if you disabled the module or disabled Beaver Builder, you'd be left with the full size. So there's the sepia. You can now see the sepia look coming through. And you can reverse it as well. So what the reverse does, so at the moment it's turning sepia when it hovers. What reverse does is it'll make it sepia, and then when you hover, the black and white will come through. So if I go in and reverse that effect, which I've defaulted by true, so you can see my images are now sepia, and if I publish that, when I hover over them, they turn black and white. So you can have a black and white image turn color, etc., etc. And that is a fully responsive as well. I should have shown that, shouldn't I? So you can see there they've stacked all nicely into place. So it is fully responsive. Okay. So the next thing we'll do is we will go in and we'll change it to also in the masonry style, we can also do your standard grid image. So that'll just grid them. It won't actually stack them into any sort of masonry layout. So if you had all rectangular images, it'll just be all rectangular. So that's just your standard grid layout. Let's go into horizontal scroll. So this masonry tab, I haven't worked out how to hide it. It'll stay there, same as the horizontal did, but these obviously don't come into play now. So horizontal style, we've got our height. We can set the width, so the page width, the height of the images. Yeah, I know how to toggle. I just haven't worked out how to toggle tabs, Josh. So we could set the height, we can tell it whether to loop, so it's just endless scrolling. We can change the different easing effect, whether we want to show arrows. Lightbox, what Lightbox does, it'll overlay and fade out the images behind it. Lightbox does not actually open in a Lightbox, but I'm going to add that in. We can change our spinner color so you can still spinning there. So I could change that color, I think. No, didn't work. But let's have a look at how that looks. And go done, publish changes. And there we've got our horizontal scrolling gallery, which is all nicely working. So I will be adding a lightbox in here, so you'll be able to click on the images and then scroll through the images full screen. So particularly handy if you're only using a small column for horizontal scrolling. Let me just download, where is it? Fotoplugins 1.07, there we go. No, don't want that. More. 5. Okay. All right, so that's the horizontal. So there's not much to show in that, but I kind of like that. It's nice, lightweight, really quick, works well on mobiles as well. So any questions regarding the masonry plugin? Just bear with me a second. I just downloaded 1.07 from my site. I don't want that plugins. All right, let's refresh this, and that null should disappear. Obviously, because like I said, I was doing some testing, and here we go. So now I'm running 1.07. Haha. And I've got to go in and reactivate it, obviously. Because it's not in there. Oh. What happened there? There we go. So don't forget, if you own, all these modules are available for free to download from my website. However, you need to manually download and update every single time I update them. If you've purchased my bundle module, which I've got installed here, it automatically updates via the standard WordPress update. All right, so let's go back to my page builder. There we go. And we've done that. So PDF viewer, this is standard. Oops, I should remove the other one. Oops, this is pretty straightforward. But I do have some work to do on this one, and I'll show you why in just a second. So PDF viewer, let's go and find a sample PDF. It'll do. All right, so you can name your PDF, sample PDF, post your PDF in here. You can choose your height and your width. And you can now view your PDF. Oops, I won't let me because I'm in that mode. There, so we can make it a bit wider. We can make it a bit higher. Let's make that 600. See where the opacity comes in handy because you can see behind it now. You can see what's going on. And there we go, I can hit save. And we can publish that. Full width possible. It is set to pixels. So you would probably have to set it to your pixel that you would want to show. It does. I haven't set it to percentage. No reason why I couldn't. I just didn't. So you can see, you can scroll through and see, and you've got your standard navigations and saving. Some I know this, I'm using Chrome, so this is showing, I think this is part of Chrome. Some browsers may not show these, so there is also a download button here. But this is where I need to do some work. So as it's very basic, it works fine, lightweight, and works. But if I go into mobile, it's not responsive. And if I view this on my, if I view it on my Android device, it downloads. It'll download directly to my phone. It doesn't open in the browser. So the browser just comes up blank. So I've got to work out how I can do it for mobile to change it if responsiveness. So there is that issue with it at the moment. But for desktops, it's a great feature to be able to view it directly within rather than just having a link for it. Maybe I could change it to percentage too for the width. Maybe that will fix my responsive issues because I'm using pixels. It's a true pixel count. And as we know, nothing is pixel perfect online. Next up, we have my push menu, which is the latest one. So in here, you're going to start typing your menu. So it works a little bit different to other menus. If I just go into my way menus work in themes, sorry, it works a little bit different. So if I go into, here we go, menus, let's set up, have I got a menu set up? Let's create a menu. Scale, menu, create. So the menu name is what you'll be searching for in that suggest field. So let's just view all, select all. Let's just add that to menu because we can. Let's go and add in no categories. Let's add in my let's add in all my products just to bump that up. Save. Actually, what I should do, I should nest a couple of these. So let's go album and let's nest those singles under that album. And we got album 1, album 2, album 3, and we don't need multiple Woo logos. Here we go. Oh, we've got 2 sample pages. Remove. Here we go. Save menu. Okay, so all right. So now if we go to the back to the site, we'll go to our page builder, and we'll drag in our menu. So obviously we can't change the menus in the builder Beaver Builder theme. However, if you used another theme like Headway or something that doesn't have a header, you could then just drag out and create your own header. Or if you wanted a menu in a different spot, let's go to mine. But anyway, push menu and scale. So you can choose left or right off canvas location. I want to keep it on the left. You can have whether you want, so when it's become scales down into mobile, whether you want text and icon, whether you want the icon on the left and text on the right, which I'm going to do. You can choose to have, so obviously if you're going to have your off canvas on the right, you'll want your link position on the right. I'm on the left, so I want it on the left. Okay, yep, we're back. You can all hear me now, can't you? Don't know why that is. My USB just drops out. So I'm going to replace my icon. I'm going to go with a font awesome icon. And I'm not going to go with the standard hamburger icon. I'm going to go with an arrow. And I'm going to go back to my styling. And I want to change, no, was it not in my styling? Change my menu theme to light. Hit save. I might actually change my responsiveness as well to, let's go 899. The other thing you can do is, if you wanted to, you could actually set that to 0. And that'll show on all breakpoints then. So you could actually just get rid of your main menu if you wanted to, and just have, even on a desktop then, have off-canvas navigation. So where this will really come into play is I'm going to be adding it so you'll be able to add anything into that off canvas. So you could have sign up forms, you could have your about, you could have contact forms, you could have virtually anything in there, and you'll be able to have both left and right. So you might not want the menu, but you might want to make use of that off-canvas area and have it scaling when people want to. So you can have, hey, contact us, and have all your page sharing links and a contact form and everything you want in there. So you can play around with the breakpoint there, or you could never show it by making it a really big one. But I'm going to make it with this. I'm going to make it 899. I'm going to change that width as well. I'm going to make it 400 pixels. So we changed it to light, we changed our icon, and we changed the width. Let's have a look. Publish changes. And if we scale that down now, so there's our light. And the icon's still not working. Why is that not working? Did I choose to show icon, or did I just leave it as text maybe? Icon. I have to have a look at that. All right, oh, that gives me a bug to fix. But there, so, and that's the light theme. And so you'll be able to have, like I said, you'll be able to ditch the menu and have anything you want there. Yeah, okay, David, I'll have to have a look at that because it was working. So now don't worry about this bug. This stays on when you if you don't close it, because honestly, people aren't going, hey, let me look at this site today. Oh, look, there's the menu icon. They're not resizing these browsers like that in day-to-day use. Day-to-day use, they're either on the tablet, they're on the phone, or they're on their browser. Okay, I will get onto that. That'll be my job for tomorrow. Let's delete that. Any questions about the push menu? Okay, my social share buttons. Where has that listed there? Anyway, my social share buttons. So you've got Facebook, Google Plus, LinkedIn. You can hide whichever ones you want. You can hide your Facebook if you wanted to. You could choose the title. You can choose your content. can choose which photo you want to have tagged for the sharing. Let's go with the same one we've been using. You can put in your Twitter handle. You don't need to put the @ you just type in the handle. And you can add some tags to the end if you wanted to. All right. So from there, you can also choose your layout. So by default, it's horizontal. You can have it to display vertical. You can hide the labels. Okay, but you can show labels on hover, and you can choose to float it right or float it left. You can also have fixed positioning. So it will float with the page and then choose the top margin. Now there is a bug with Beaver Builder though. When you float, see how it jumps all in and out of the place? It is really hard to try and, you've got to try and get over the settings. It doesn't like it when the module is being pushed outside of the row content. So just bear that in mind. It's not a fault with me, it's just Beaver Builder. So so you can do that. Let's hit save and let's go and check that out. We go done, we go publish, and let's go and tweet this. So you can see on my labels are on hover. Let's go tweet it. Opens up my Twitter window. Check out these awesome modules and the link and things so I could tweet that. I could go to Facebook. It'll open up in Facebook so I can share the link on Facebook. If I go to Pinterest, it'll pull in the image. So you can, so that's all working nicely. Now, one of the things that was brought up with me earlier today was that it doesn't, when it's fixed, it doesn't responsive. So what I would generally do in that case, I'm going to see if I can fix that. What I would generally do is go settings, go into my advanced and display on large and medium devices only. Hit save. I could then add another one, social share, add this one here, and leave that as horizontal and change that in advanced to medium, small devices only. So I'll probably make that medium and small devices, hit save, and maybe not, maybe it's really giving me a glitch here. Someone asked me and I said this is the workaround that I would do, but I hadn't actually tested it, so I was hoping this would have worked. So large device, yeah, see it's overlapping. Okay, I'll have to work on that. So I've got another responsive issue. I'm writing down notes as I go. Okay, let's delete that. Josh, that would have been, I know what's causing that. Remember Josh was hit me up about my CSS classes and how I might have conflicts. That'll be what it is. I haven't tagged my class with the module ID. If I prefix that all with the module ID, then any styling will only affect that particular module. So because I haven't used that, when you do it, it's becoming global. So I will fix that. All right, tables. I got to admit, this is my favorite module I've built. I hate tables, I really do, until I started using my own module. So we create our headers for our table. I don't know, 3, it'll do. And we can make our table sortable, which I'll show you in a second. So now we want to add in our rows. So let's go and add in our rows. So if we go to my site, fotoplugins.com, and go, I'll get my example here, table modules. So row labels will identify it, plus add it as a class. So this row, the first row, will have a class assigned to it of avatar. If I said avatar movie, only avatar would be assigned as the class. It separates spacing. If I did that, it would most likely, with a comma, it would most likely strip it out. Avatar. So cell 1, the movie is called Avatar. We had another, our next cell was the year, which was 2009, and gross was 2.7 billion. So we could save that, and that adds in one row, and there it is. We'll add in another row, and we'll call this one Titanic. So Titanic, and it was in 1997, and it was 2.1 billion. Save that. So add another row. We'll make this the last row. 3 and 3 sounds like a good even number. And Avengers. The Avengers. Add another one. Was in 2012, and it grossed 1.5 billion. Let's hit save. And just checking you can all hear me. Yep. We'll publish that. So here's our table. We can sort it. We can sort it by the year, and that's now 1997 to 2012. We can reverse that. We could sort it by the gross, which won't probably work because it's pulling it up as, oh no, it has worked, gone down. Okay, cool. If I go the other way. I was wondering if it'll work because it's recognized as a string, not an integer because of the dollar and the thing, but it seems to be working. Now, but the biggest thing I love is when we scroll that to responsive, you can see we've got our labels on the left and our titles on, and all our field rows on the right. So our headers and our rows all nicely stack in there. And the biggest way I can show you on that, best way to show you is actually on my example on my website. So we've got the same thing here. And when we scroll, you can really see how, with the images, how that really comes into effect. So it makes it really nicely done for responsive menus, tables, sorry. Which I saw was a big thing on the feature request over in the forums. And as I said, so the sort there, we can just disable that. And that doesn't use CSS disabling, it completely removes it. So it's not a resource. So that is no longer an issue. So any questions on the tables? The last one here is tooltip. This is very basic. So we call our title a famous link. We can choose image from media library or from the or from a URL. So we can choose an external one. We're just going to stick with our lady here. We can choose where to link it to, google.com. Unknown. There we go. Let's hit save. Oops. unknown. Let's hit save. Let's just publish that. And what we have now is, so when we hover, that we've got our tooltip come up. If we go back in and edit that, we can go to our styling. We can change the background color of our pop-up. Let's go that. We'll leave the text white. We can align it center up, center, left, or right, and that is left of the link, right of the link, or center to the link. And we can make it above or below, so center below. I want to leave it as above and center. We could change our link text color. So that's that actual color there. There we go. Leave that as a nice light of white. We could change our font size. And we can also position our link and we can set the width of our panels and our height of our panels. We can tell whether to contain our image, fit to height, and we can choose where to position our image as well. So I might pop that below. So we can save it. We can go done and we can go published. And now when we hover over our link, it's that red and white, it's center and it's underneath. So that's it. The other thing you can do with tooltips is you can use it as a shortcode. So you can, if I can remember how to do this. So if I go to, oops, my phone's beeping like crazy here. Is it just frozen? No. So if I actually go back to my site, should be able to do this within Beaver Builder. Let's delete that and let's go. Does text editor support sort codes? I'm sure it does. This is a wonderful presentation by, and we can add in our shortcode, which our shortcode is tooltip, and we want our tip equals photo plugins was founded by John Mather in 2015, and we want our URL to link to is fotoplugins.com. We can change we can have background for the background color, so we go background equals B200, oops, hash B20022. Or you could just go red. We can go color. No, we want color equals white. We could change the position equals, that's right, equals up, above, which is default. We could change it to align equals right. So that is all our shortcode. For that, we then add in, to finish it off, we close off our tooltip. So basically our text should read, this is a wonderful presentation by Fotoplugins, and when we hover over Fotoplugins, we should see our tooltip. Let's try that, save. Go done, go publish. And there we go. And you can use this outside of the modules, because this is a shortcode, it's global, so you can use this in a post. And if you click on that, I didn't link it properly because I just put fotoplugins.com and so it errors out, but you get the point. So that's it, guys. That is the end of the presentation. So you can activate your mics, hit me up with any questions, anything else you want me to quickly run through, anything like that. Fire away. Yeah. Um, it could be, yes, if you're talking about, so you're asking whether the semantic markup is relevant with when outside of the theme and using the module. Yeah, so it won't be contained in like header or anything like that. That's right. Not every menu needs to be in the header. No. In fact, not every website needs to have a header, but it does need to have a head. The next tool that I want to add, I've obviously got a couple of bugs to fix in moving forward, though, which I've highlighted. The other thing is a pop-up window, which will allow you to display content, whether it be a sign-up form for your newsletter, contact form, an alert, whatever, a pop-up window which will float. You can choose where it will float, whether it will turn, when it turns up, so whether it will turn up after a certain scroll, or after a certain time, or immediately, or when someone leaves. So that'll pop up and float over the page, and it will sit off the page until the trigger event that you choose happens. So that'll be a cool addition. Anybody who gets who has the module bundle, moving forward, when I add new modules, they will go out at least 48 hours before they're made available singly on my website. So everybody who purchased gets 2 days to play with them before everybody else. Any other questions, guys? You can turn your mics on and talk. Okay, I can't hear anything. Hang on, let me find out what is going on there. Okay, yep, I've lost volume. I can't hear anything. Uh, yeah, can someone try talking because I can't hear anything? David, it was definitely my end because I checked it in my settings. Nah, I can't hear anything. All right, guys. The BB marketplace, if they'll become available, yes. If and when, I think it's more of a when than an if, the marketplace becomes available, I will be adding them onto their um, subject to their testing and approval, of course, or however they're going to work it. I think the marketplace is scheduled for sometime in the first quarter next year. Okay, thanks for joining me, everybody. I hope this gave you an insight into my modules and how to use them. Gave me an insight into some fixes I've got to make. I hope you enjoy using them as much as I enjoy making them. And don't forget, my module bundle, 20 bucks a year is not much. It gives you all the updates, and also it allows you to use it on as many sites as you want. So it's a no-brainer in my opinion, rather than having to uninstall and reinstall. Um, helps keep me at it and keeps me building new modules for you guys. Especially when I start working on themes. I think you guys are going to love that when I start working on themes, because I love building themes now. So anyway, I will speak to you all on chat on Slack. Enjoy the chat with the guys from Beaver Builder, Justin and Robbie and whoever else will be online. I won't be there because of the time zone difference, but I'm sure it'll be great fun, and I can't wait to hear what happens. All right, guys, peace out. Thanks for coming.